Hey, welcome back. We're here with another Code Wars challenge. Today we are working on the 7Q challenge, count the divisors of a number. Today's challenge will give you a number and it's going to count from 1 all the way until it reaches that final number that it gave you, and it's going to determine which numbers are the divisors of that number. Divisors meaning that there will be no remainders. So this first example right here, it says we have 3 divisors, 1, 2, and 4. That means that the number 4 right here is divisible by 1 with no remainders. It's divisible by 2 with no remainders, and it's divisible by 4 with no remainders. Notice how the number 3 is not in this list right here. The list, if it's kind of difficult to see, oops, I can't zoom too far in. Notice how the number 3 is not in here because 4 is not evenly divisible by 3. There would be a remainder. So that's what we're looking for in today's challenge. Let's open up VS Code and we will get started on how I solved this one. So first things first, you are going to start with a number. Let's just start with that 4. So I'm going to name the function. They named it as get divisors tn. All right. If you don't follow their naming conventions, you will end up with errors a lot of times. So just make sure that you pay attention to that when you're doing these challenges. So the way that I thought about this challenge is I'm going to use a loop. I'm going to put the number into the function as an argument, and then I'm going to loop through that number. I'm going to count through the number and divide it by every index. So I'll show you how I did that. I'm going to make an array. We'll call it divisors, and I'm going to make it an empty array. Every time there is a number that is a divisor, it's going to go into this divisors array. So I want a loop. I'm going to get a for loop. Shorten the index I, and then so you have to change this for loop a little bit. First of all, we don't start the for loop at 0. We have to start it at 1. So the counter is going to start at 1. The index is going to start at 1, and then it's going to count until it reaches our number. So it's not an array.length. It is just it's going to count up. Going to count up 1, it's going to start at 1. It's going to count up 1 number or increment 1 number every time until it reaches n, and n is 4. But n is going to change. It'll be 5, it'll be 30, 45. It's going to constantly be changing. That argument is going to be tested many times in Code Wars. So in this loop, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the modulus operator to determine if a number is a divisor. So it's going to say if n, and instead of divided by, I'm going to say, where is that? Modulus I equals 0. So what this statement is doing is it's going to say if what the modulus operator does right here, this parentheses sign, what it does is it says n. So if n is 4 right here, so it says if 4 divided by the index, and the index is going to be these numbers that we're counting to, which will be 1, 2, 3, and 4 in this case. So it's going to say if n is divisible by 1 and there's no remainder, that 0 means we don't have any remainders, then what we're going to do is we're going to divisors dot push that index. So it's going to say 4 divided by 1. Are there no remainders? Then push that divisor into this array up here. So 4 divided by 1, there's no remainders, so 1 would go in there. And then it's going to say 4 modulus, oops, I'm having issues today. It's going to say 4 modulus, or 4 divided by 2. Are there any remainders on that? No. So then 2 would then go in here. And then it's going to say, all right, 4 divided by 3. Are there any remainders? Yes. So 3 does not go into the divisors array. And then lastly, 4 divided by 4. Are there any remainders? No. So 4 goes into that final array. However, this challenge doesn't want a final array. It just wants a final number, I believe. Yes, that's what it wants. So as you can see right here, what I have it. Basically, the output of this function, it wouldn't be this array. I would just want to say 3. 4. It's divisible by 3 numbers that don't produce any remainders. So 5 would have 2, 1, and 5. So 5 divided by 1, 0 remainders. 5 divided by 2 will produce remainders. Divided by 3 will produce remainders. 4 will produce remainders, but 5 does not. So that would be then, if this was 5, then this would be the 1 and the 5, and then you'd want to return 2 numbers. 2 numbers are the only 2 that don't produce any remainders. Let's move that back, and let me show you how to get those results. Let's see. We need to. I'll show you what would happen if we just return divisors. Let's just try that. Let's get a console.log, and we're going to say get divisors, and you need to put the argument in there. I think I have everything set correctly. Let's say node, please run this script. Okay, so, whoops, I didn't mean to leave these in here. Clear. One more time. So 4, how many divisors are in 4? Let's see, without any remainders. Right, this is producing the array. So 1 and 2 are the ones that don't produce any. Oh no, we want 4 as well. Oh, that's right. Okay, my mistake. I made an issue, but this might be good for learning purposes. So I counted up until this index was smaller than the number. But I want it to count up until the number. So it has to be if it's smaller than or equal to that number. Because it was counting and it stopped right before the 4. Because I had that count until smaller than the number that we have. We want to say count until you are smaller than or equal to the number. Let's save that. Let's run once more. So we get n. The divisors are 1, 2, and 4. Let's double check that with the challenge. 1, 2, and 4. 5, we have 2 divisors, 1 and 5. Let's throw the 5 in there and see if that works. 1 and 5. Okay, and then let's just do one more. 12, we should have 6 divisors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 are the ones that do not produce any remainders. So let's try that one out. This will be our last test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. However, this is not the output that we want. We just want to have how many numbers are divisible without a remainder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We just want it to produce the number, we want it to return the number 6. So the easiest thing that I can do is, instead of returning divisors when the loop is done, we'll just say return the length of the divisors, because the length is going to count how many numbers are in this array right here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, one last trial, and 6. That's our final output. We will take this and let's throw it into Code Wars, do a quick test, and it looks like we are set. So that's it for today's challenge. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave those below, and I will see you next week. All right, see ya.